What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 1 of the Risk On, Risk Off podcast. My name is Clay. Many of you already know me as Ronin. I own Ronin Forex, and I'm the host of this new podcast. And with me is a special guest and co-host, my friend in the UK, Andrew Fletcher. What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? How you doing? Super excited about this, man. Obviously, we've been talking about this for a while now. So I think it's cool that we're finally getting some action moving forward. For people who don't know me, I basically started in Clay's group. God, what is it now? Like 2-3 years? Yeah, a long time, man. So I've been there for the growth of the community, which he has, and it's helped me grow a lot as a trader. And now I'm doing my own thing, which I'm quite excited about as well, which is obviously Invest Beyond. So it's quite cool that we have this platform to collaborate on right now. So I'm pretty excited about sort of everything, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. So, and for anybody that watches this on my group, from my group, or this is its own thing, its own podcast, and the reason that we decided to do this, so many different reasons. Everything going on right now. There's no better time, and like anything that's shared on this podcast is just opinion. We're it just for the sake of playing devil's advocate. I'm not in my political views here or anything like that, or telling anybody what's right, what's wrong. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think people need to distinguish the difference, right? It's very opinionated. It's just our opinions based on current climate, current events, everything that a lot of people may think it may be abstract, but I think you've always got to look at something in the bigger picture, in the reality of things. You're going to have one view, you're going to have another view, and instead of just having a single view, I think it's important that you kind of look both ways no matter what you're doing, right? It's like you cross the road, you don't just cross the road looking left, you look left and right.
Right. So. Yeah. And for sure, so we're going to be talking about the markets, we're going to be talking about trading, but we're going to be talking about how the bigger picture of that.
Yeah.
So, we have some massive events happening this year that change the markets in a big way, like the election.
Yeah, 100%.
Already happened. We've had the coronavirus. We've had now the protesting, and even before the podcast, when we were talking about this, we were talking about the Iranian general that got assassinated. So
yeah,
we forgot all about that.
That's the crazy thing. 2020 so far has just been such an action-packed year. It's unreal, it's like we're forgetting all these major events because we're just getting exposed to so much major news. I guess it's just our way to kind of give a voice to it, I guess, right? I think that's kind of the main purpose with it. So
it's hard to handle a lot of it too. And the thing is too, as traders though, because one of the most important things to do, and that I've learned and I'm learning every single day, is why you need to question everything.
Yeah, 100%.
This is the reason I think doing this podcast is a good, why we wanted to do it was then we're what are we going to talk about? Well, we can't just talk about technical analysis, because nobody wants to hear us just go back and forth about we have our trading groups for that, for one, and for two, it's
exactly,
and not relatable. But everything that's going on, what pushes the markets around, is relatable. And I think that if the bigger picture of people understood what was happening in the markets right now, then they would be holy shit, maybe it's not.
Sheds a whole new light on it. That's the thing. And I think that's why, as traders as a whole, we see things very differently, because we see the mass manipulation that happens on the market, and from that level, you can kind of extend it, because then you start noticing it in the media, you start noticing it in the bigger picture, and it's is this going to be a bear trap? Is this going to be a bull trap? What's the purpose of the agenda in other contexts outside of trading?
Yeah.
So it's it's going to be exciting. I'm excited for this.
So that's kind of what we put the name for the podcast, Risk On, Risk Off. We could have done bear trap, bull trap.
Yeah.
The same concept. It's like, so what's everything that's happening right now? Is this going to be a risk on event? Is it going to be risk off? And it's kind of like an oxymoron because like, you would think a risk on event would be something that's like good for everybody. So things are getting back to normal. But one of the biggest risk on events that's going to happen, which by people that aren't traders, what we mean by that is that, something that's an event that happens that either is pro for the markets, pro for investors, pro for people wanting to invest in the markets or invest in the dollar or whatever it might be, or is it negative, right? Are people going to be looking to invest in safe haven assets, gold, silver, yen, US dollars? So just that's kind of what we mean by risk on and risk off.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's important that this whole concept of risk on, risk off kind of translates into trading as well. We have to remember that it is the flow of everything. It is kind of, everyone, technical analysis is 80% of it, but fundamental analysis and kind of understanding, just digesting what's happening in the world, right? I think like outside of trading is just even an important thing that we have to do, right? We have to be aware, we have to be conscious of everything, so.
And that's the real 90% of it anyway.
Yeah.
Analysis doesn't even really matter.
Well, technicals just haven't mattered whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's been a nightmare. I mean, we discussed this. I'm sure you probably discussed it in your weekly as well. But just the way the S&P at the moment has just, it's a whole conversation there.
Yeah. I mean, we could just talk about the NASDAQ, that it's already at the all-time highs that we were previously at before coronavirus happened. And I mean, people don't realize that if you paid attention to just like take the conspiracies out of the picture and thinking of dismissing something as, oh, well, that's just a big conspiracy theory, that the markets were already in free fall before they closed everything.
Yeah.
But it was already crashing. It's like the markets didn't crash because the business is closed. Business is closed and coronavirus has happened kind of because the markets were crashing.
Yeah, 100%.
And to cover it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's like thing that people don't understand is, what controls the world is basically money flow, right? So, as traders, when you're seeing the movement and you're seeing how the money flow is going based on what's happening in the world, you kind of get a good understanding of what could potentially be a bullshit, if I'm, excuse my French, and what's the truth, right?
Right.
So,
and so would it be possible that they would some sort of massive scam would be perpetrated to so like a very small number of people could like not just double their money but increase their wealth by like 2 times over the span of 3 months this happened?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like there was that the video. I saw this little video clip on. I'm not sure I saw it. It was someone's Twitter, but it was basically the ex vice VP of Facebook. His net worth's like 8 billion, right? So we're talking, upper echelons of the world right now. And he said straight in the interview, he was like, "There's 150 people who run the world. There's 150 old men." And the puppets are the governments and everyone else. And he was like, and that's it. He's like, there's no question. It's full stop. So.
Dude, you got to send that to me.
Yeah, I will, dude. I'll find it and I'll make sure. I think I'll put the link actually in the YouTube as well, just so people can see it.
There it is. So and so what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be talking about various news articles that we find compelling, maybe that will affect the markets or that are already affecting the markets. And we'll put links in those so you all can interact with us. And we're also going to do a Q&A at the end of every episode. So in the comments below for us to reference next week and next week's episode, go ahead and start asking questions that you want us about about markets, about conspiracies, about and so like just to like shed light on conspiracy. What we mean by that is anybody that is looking for the real truth behind what is going on, because now it's pretty much the cat's out of the bag that we can't believe the news. We can't believe
Yep.
the mainstream. CNN has an agenda. Fox has an agenda. BBC has an agenda that they're trying to make you, persuade you to think one way or the other. So that's why the purpose behind this podcast is to get you to think for yourself. So
yeah, exactly. It's just all about like what they call critical thinking, right? It's just put the dots together, and it's up to you to make your own opinion on it. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's not forcing anyone to think this, think that, but it's just
dude, now critical thinking like that is like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, huh? You must think this, and this. And I think, man, dude, the system is set up. Of course, the CIA actually came out with the term conspiracy theorist and after the JFK assassination. You can Google that.
Yeah.
You can Google that. Anybody that wants to look that up. So the CIA coined that term. So for people that were questioning JFK and continue to use that, especially now, about coronavirus but 5G, whatever, all that stuff. I don't even want to say it on here because we might get our first thing.
First flag.
I know. So, but that's the thing. So those are things we're going to be looking into, and however you all want to take it for yourselves, just think for yourselves. Man, I'm telling you, as a trader, it's you have to learn to do that. Anything you want to add?
No, man. I mean, if we relate it to trading, it's just like consolidation, right? You've just got to choose whether you're going to play the breakout or not, and whether you want to go with it. So, but dude, not really. I think that one thing that's kind of caught my attention recently, which you spoke to me about earlier, I had absolutely no idea about this as a situation, was this Chaz thing, or Chop or whatever it's called in Seattle. So it's the concept of this whole thing. It's like a rebellious, like they built their own community within Seattle or something.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's these protester groups, and of course, we looked up. You want to share your screen and check it out. So it's this protesting group. So it's built of a lot of different people, though. The Black Lives Matter movement, Antifa, people that are just there to protest, or protesting Trump, or protesting George Floyd, or people with their own agendas too. And apparently, I'm hearing a lot of different things out of there depending on where you get the news from. Some more liberal news outlets are like trying to paint it as this kind of utopia, but when you look at it, it's like
an anarchist state.
Everything's painted. And I wouldn't want to be there at night.
Yeah.
What it was one of the central, what it is one of the central precincts in Seattle. This group more or less took it over, and then the police left that precinct. So the AZ part of Chaz stands for autonomous zone.
Okay.
Wonder let's see, what's the C and H? Do you want to pull up that article?
My the screen share is not letting me. It says it's disabled. I think you have to.
Cool. Yeah, you should be able to. So so Chaz is crazy though, because it's like a lot of different things are happening, and it's how are they going to paint this picture? But man, I can't tell. Like if I lived in Seattle, and like people that own businesses in this zone, they have to pay a tax to this group that more or less.
So it's like a mafia, man. Isn't that how the mafia runs? They just extort businesses for protection money.
Yeah, or a government.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Rent, right? Just to have the bloody thing.
Yeah, so they built there's a bunch of funny videos out there because you see like built these huge border walls. So then they're like, so you built a wall, right? So like just like with Trump building a wall. So they built walls. They are getting protection money, or getting people to pay them. So it's just insane that this is happening
It's
right now.
almost like a micro, like revolutionary movement happening, and it's being allowed to happen, which is the weird thing, right?
That's
Because
a weird thing. Like,
you know,
why is
yeah.
it allowing this to happen?
But if you look at it in any other sort of circumstances or time, I know, like you touched upon with the presidential elections and everything. It's a lot of shit to be happening right before the election, as usual. Keeping in mind,
Yeah.
but if you think about this in a situation anywhere else in the world, it wouldn't it wouldn't be allowed, essentially, right? They'd be like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah, yeah. Or this is like a situation that is like going on in uh, Iraq or something like that, where it's like, these warlords take over these uh, parts of a city, and then extort people to that are there, or it's like your way or the highway. And but what's weird is that Seattle is letting this happen, and that Trump is. So I think part of it is,
Yeah, definitely.
it's up to the states, but like we could talk about what is what's his game plan here? What's he trying to accomplish? Like, I think part of it is he's like trying to get the people to, okay, so you want to see, like, let's see what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's see what chaos is like really gonna happen, right?
Right. So I guess letting people hang themselves out to dry. So,
Yeah, which
um,
I think would be the natural occurrence, right? Because I don't think I think most people would just freak out.
yeah,
I don't think with as much as we hate the control at the same time, if we didn't have someone dictating what was right and wrong sometimes, right? I think that people has tendency to just go a little bit too crazy.
yeah, yeah. Check out some of the pictures. Like, so the way it looks is like, it reminds me of, you ever been at a music festival and it's like, like 4:30 in the morning? Just look up Chaz pictures, yeah. And
Yeah,
and
let's see.
you ever been at a music festival and it's like 4:30 in the morning, and like the sun's already kind of starting to come up, and people are like just like kind of wandering around, either like, and like doing like nitrous balloons, or
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
like selling people that haven't slept all day, or for days, that are still up. Um, and you're like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. You know what
Yeah, dude, I gotta go home, man. I
I mean? Yeah,
gotta.
kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it's the end of that for sure. But then I question: do you think something like this is going to have a knock-on effect on the dollar, for example? Do you
Okay.
think that we'll see this? Because what I think the problem with this is it's going to spread.
Yeah. 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 So this is also like a kind of like a oxymoron, right? Because with the dollar strengthening, why would the dollar strengthen? But if not just if, but when we get the second wave of coronavirus, COVID-19, whenever the powers that be,
Yeah,
maybe,
which I think is definitely going to happen a lot sooner rather than later. As we saw, obviously the US has reported its highest surge in cases in the last 7 weeks.
yeah.
You know,
So then, do we have like wave two of the stock market and the S&P crashing? And so if that's the case, then
Hmm.
dude, then that's going to mean the dollar is going to strengthen significantly, because just like it did,
Yeah.
like has it already been 6 weeks? How long ago? I guess it was like the end of February, February, March. The dollar went through the
Yeah, it
roof.
was March. It was March when it hit the peak, right? Because that's when the S&P hit bottom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and then came the crazy dollar strength. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So, like, is Chaz gonna be the thing that affects the dollar? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a culmination of things. It's like, do people even like, so say that wave two of the coronavirus happens? Do you want to pull up some of those charts of
Yeah.
like, of the coronavirus too?
Oh, of the coronavirus.
Yeah,
Where was?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, on Zero Hedge, right? That one which showed us. That was really
Right,
good.
right. So, because then we can,
By the way, guys, if any of you do not know what Zero Hedge is, or if any of you guys do not read through Zero Hedge, we both highly recommend that you do. Don't take it tit for tat and take it like as if it's the end all of information, because obviously it does lean a little bit more sometimes on the, on the radical thinking side.
Yeah.
But as I said to Clay earlier, we've seen on numerous times official publications like Bloomberg and everything, they're just a little late to report what Zero Hedge reports. So
And they were one of the first people taken down on, and we're not like plugging them or have any connection or anything. They were the first people that were taken down off Twitter. So when people started getting banned and the mass bannings happened, it was their Twitter was one of the first to go, and I hadn't seen anybody get banned yet. I was like, dude, I was reading it that day, and so what the article was an article which later came out and is like the World Health Organization more or less confirms that there's an Indian doctor and Indian group of scientists that picked apart whatever it is that COVID-19 was, and there's like an element of the HIV virus apparently, and that's what the article was all about. And
that was crazy.
They posted that article, and the same day their Twitter got taken down, and
and I think that was almost the start of the mass social media censorship with Twitter and YouTube following quite shortly after that. Anything that didn't kind of fit with the narrative was quickly, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of bad information out there, but at the same time, it destroys everything that as humans we kind of stand for, right? Which is the ability to have free speech at the same time.
Right. And if they're saying that it's harmful information, then, and they're just protecting us from harmful information, then, are they protecting us from being able to think for ourselves? And so
I'm trying to find the chart, man. I can't remember which one it was.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So I think that I think the big thing to look for, and what this podcast is going to be about, is getting you all to think for yourselves, and us. Like, and when I talk about us, I'm talking about like myself and Andrew. So like, that we're providing an outlet for you all to have a voice too. So that's where you can ask questions and see what our thoughts are. And so we can talk about things that need to be talked about right now, the things that are getting people's like websites taken down and stuff. Obviously we don't want that to happen to us. But we want to, it's like, it's not about conspiracies anymore, when this is what's happening to us every single day. And we have an election in the US. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. And like Clay said, with the sort of Q&A section and everything like that, like, guys, if it's anything, if you want, like, we'll talk technical as well. Don't think that this is just a radio cast just about like everything that could be happening. We will also be talking the markets as well. So please do ask us questions about the markets as well. And you can ask us anything you want, really. You want to know what Clay eats for breakfast? Like, please ask the man. I'm sure he'll tell you.
Nothing. You got me on to intermittent fasting for a while. I got off of it.
Yeah.
I got off of it, dude. It's so hard to get back on, though. That is the way to go.
It is super hard, man. It's one of those things that, like, you get in the routine of it and it's super easy. But as soon as you have a bowl of cereal, then that becomes life again.
Yeah. Sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit for breakfast.
Yeah. Get the full English going on.
So yeah, man, I'm super excited. This podcast, Risk On, Risk Off, it's for you all, and to help everybody get a voice, about what's going on, so we can look at things for ourselves. And so leave questions, comments below. And is there anything you want to add, dude?
No, not really, man. Like I said, I'm just excited to get this going. Like I said, we're going to be choosing hot topics, hot articles, and we just really hope to give you guys really good content at the end of the day, right? So,
yeah. So we're going to do this once a week. We're going to start out once a week, and then if it picks up steam, go for there.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Yeah. Well,
So
Have a great week trading.
Yeah, dude, you guys, you too, bro. And like I said, Ronin, Forex, and Invest Beyond, man. We're going to check out our overviews. I'm sure Clay's put his weekly overview up and everything as well. So let's look forward to a great week in the markets as well, guys.
Cool. All right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Perfect, dude.
Have
Take it easy, mate.
everybody.
Yeah, take it easy, buddy.